Hello everyone, and welcome to our podcast on learning English. I'm John, your host for today's episode, and I'm thrilled to be joined by my good friend Robert.
Hey everyone, glad to be here.
Before we dive into our discussion on mastering the English language, let's take a moment to introduce ourselves. I'm a language enthusiast with a passion for helping others improve their English skills. Robert, why don't you tell our listeners a bit about yourself?
Of course. I'm Robert, a language learner just like many of you tuning in today. I've had my fair share of struggles and successes when it comes to learning English, and I'm excited to share my experiences with all of you.
Thanks, Robert. With that said, let's get started. So, Robert, when did you first start learning English, and what motivated you to embark on this journey?
Well, John, I began learning English in high school, but it wasn't until I started traveling and interacting with people from different parts of the world that I truly realized the importance of mastering the language. Whether it was for business, travel, or simply connecting with others, I knew that becoming proficient in English would open up a world of opportunities for me.
That's fascinating, Robert. I think many of our listeners can relate to the idea of English being a gateway to new experiences and connections. You know, Robert, thinking back on our own language journeys, I can't help but recall some memorable moments along the way. One that stands out for me is when I first attempted to order food in a foreign country and ended up with something completely unexpected.
Oh, I can only imagine. Those moments of linguistic confusion can be both hilarious and humbling. I remember a similar experience when I tried to ask for directions and ended up getting pointed in the opposite direction.
Ah, the joys of language mishaps. But you know, those experiences also taught us valuable lessons about humility and the importance of perseverance in language learning.
Absolutely, John. And speaking of journeys, let's take a moment to delve into our own backgrounds and how we found ourselves in the world of podcasting. For me, it all started with a love for storytelling and a desire to share knowledge and experience with others.
That's really interesting, Robert. For me, podcasting was a natural extension of my passion for language and communication. I've always been fascinated by the power of words to connect people and spark meaningful conversations.
It's amazing how our interests and experiences have led us to this point, isn't it? And now, here we are, hosting our own podcast and hopefully inspiring others on their language learning journeys.
Indeed, Robert. I feel fortunate to be able to engage with listeners from all walks of life and share our insights and experiences in such a dynamic format.
And who knows what other adventures await us in the world of podcasting? The possibilities are truly endless.